MTI GMs. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. It is your week 2 weekly MTI wrap up where we put a bow on everything that was week 2 here in the MTI. The highs, the lows, the good vibes, the bad vibes, the off the field stuff. We talk about it all here on this weekly wrap up. And we're going to try something new this week. We're going to go to the matchup with the lowest score. We're going to work our way up to the high scores of the week. And we're doing this because the scores have just been outrageous in the MTI over 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks. Records are being set that we had never seen before. So why not highlight those GMs, those matchups? So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to bring it right now. Let's start off and take our tour this week of the MTI in week 2 out to Tampa, Florida, where Connor Fowler and his Hammerheads were able to bring their record, even their record at 1-1 in their matchup with the Harding Avenue Dash-Ons, also evening their record at 1-1 with the loss, albeit. Dash-Ons currently sitting in 8th place in the Legends Conference. The Hammerheads just one spot behind them in 9th place. But the all-important victory over Rick and his Dash-Ons this week, 118 Hammerheads, 64.5 for the Dash-Ons. A big victory for Connor. I don't know if he's found a girlfriend there in Tampa. Doing a little bit of studying, a little bit of Snapchat digits, may have found a girlfriend who's got some fantasy advice to bring his way. Nonetheless, Connor came out with a strong week. We say 120, 130 could generally get you a victory in this league. Connor certainly turned things around from his week 1 loss to the Mighty Dolphins and evened his record at 1-1. The positives for Connor this week, again, Nick Chubb, the guy that Connor didn't want as a keeper. 29.5 points for the second straight week, getting it done for the Hammerheads. I expect that to continue for the rest of the season. Strong performance by Connor's defense, 17 points. And you know what? Just guys on his roster really just meeting their projections. Nothing sexy, nothing fancy outside of Chubb, but just meeting what they were projected to do. Wouldn't that just be great every week if our guys just did what they were supposed to do? And right now, at least for week 2, Connor's guys did that. Now, on the flip side, conversely, we look at the Dash-Ons, not so much. Not so much. Ryan Tannehill, 0 points. And no, ladies and gentlemen, he was not injured. He did not get injured during the game. He really put up 0 points. Something like 117 yards, maybe, a few picks. We'll give him a pass. He played the Buffalo D. That game was a blowout, by halftime. And it was not good for Ryan Tannehill, not good for the Dash-Ons. Jonathan Taylor, one of the running back bookends, if you will, that Rick went all in on in the MTI draft. 4.5 points. Again, very atypical for Jonathan Taylor. Was projected to score 21. Gave Rick 4. That's not going to get it done. Christian McCaffrey, okay, 17 points. Maybe a different Christian McCaffrey this year. Not the guy that's going to get 30 or 40 points, but more in the 17 to maybe 20-point range. I'm sure Rick would take that as long as he can continue to walk off the field on his own 2 feet, not on a cart. I'm sure Rick will take that. But really nothing else to report on here in this roster. 64.5 points for Rick this week, and the Dash-Ons definitely not going to get it done. Bigger things ahead for him, for sure. Again, unusual performances. It happens to everybody. So I would expect Rick will be back in week 3 with a strong performance. Next, let's take it out to the, my goodness, there's one matchup I can't go to because it includes the high score of the week, but it also includes one of the lower scores of the week. So we want to highlight the high score, so we'll save that one for last. But we're going to head out to, let's see, the Exiles. And the Tiger Kings with 73 points this week. Wow. Unfortunately, lowering their record to 0-2, currently sitting in 12th place in the Legends Conference for Jason, Caden, Mr. Mitchell, Mrs. Mitchell, all the Mitchells combining for 73 points this week. Not a good week. The Exiles took home the victory, 181.5 points, evening Joe's record at 1-1, currently sitting in 5th place in the Legends Conference. The positives for the Exiles, and there were many. But again, when you could start the football nerd Cooper Kupp every week, along with his quarterback, Matt Stafford, Stephon Diggs, these are guys that are consistently going to get it done for you week to week, making up for some of the deficiencies elsewhere on the roster. Those guys are bringing it every week. What can you say? But there is something I want to highlight here more than anything else on on the Exile roster, and that is the play of Carson Wentz and the acquisition, more importantly, of Carson Wentz by the Exiles this week off the waiver wire. Pushed his chips all in, $50 on Carson Wentz. I personally love the move because waivers are really about the specific need of the team at the time. And when you lose a quarterback of Dak's caliber, we all know, that's a big swing in your weekly totals. And Carson Wentz with 43 points this week filled that void and more for the Exiles. Didn't even need the points, to be honest with you. Would have won despite Wentz. Could have took 0 there. But nonetheless, Carson Wentz filling in nicely. The investment certainly paying off for Joe. Carson Wentz doesn't have to be a good technical real-world quarterback. He just has to be a good fake quarterback. And on this day or in this week, and the first week too, to be honest, Carson Wentz has been that for sure. So good for Joe. Tiger Kings, Trey Lance, you get an injury of your quarterback in the first quarter before the guy barely throws a pass. Terrible luck for sure. Derrick Henry ran into a buzzsaw. The Buffalo defense he tried to hold his own, got in the end zone in the first quarter, but not much thereafter. James Conner hurt in the game. Hunter Renfrow, concussion. Deebo Samuel, moving from Trey Lance to Jimmy Garoppolo mid-game. Let's see. He had Keenan Allen on the bench with a hamstring. George Kittle's still battling injuries. So, again, brighter days ahead, I'm sure, for the Tiger Kings. The positive is, and I'm a glass half full guy, they have the depth to survive some of these injuries. But again, just a poor showing for the Tiger Kings this week. Let's hope that they can get into the winners column for the first time next week in week 3, make this interesting. Next stop, we are headed to Kiss My Ass versus the Mighty Dolphins, and this as everybody knows, the perils of the Kiss My Ass squad and Anthony Daniele, and how he is ultra passionate about his team, about the players he drafts. It's a very love-hate relationship with Anthony and his players for sure. Pink slips were being handed out after week 1. Week 2, those players are certainly on the trade block again. And, I'm hearing some rumors of some 5-for-5 type deals possibly being offered or made out there. Who knows? But nonetheless, Anthony always looking to churn his roster either via trade or the waiver wire. It's what have you done for me lately type of attitude with the Kiss My Ass crew. But that's not working for him so far this year. He is currently at 0-2 in 11th place in the Legends Conference. Losing to the Mighty Dolphins, 147.5 to 102. Dolphins bringing the record to 2-0, currently in 3rd place in the Legends Conference. Some of the positives for the Dolphins. And let's face it, this matchup with Anthony really came down to Monday night. I was ahead by 4 or 5 points coming into the doubleheader on Monday night. I had Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, my Eagles stack there, who brought me, 52 points to pull away from Anthony, who had Kirk Cousins going, who turned into the pumpkin we know Kirk Cousins can turn into from time to time. 3 interceptions, 11 points for Anthony. Really, game was over by halftime. So, again, looking at Anthony's roster, some of the the sexier names, the Tom Brady's, Ezekiel Elliott's, the Kyle Pitts, the Cam Akers. These guys are just underperforming, whether it be off the field issues or on the field deficiencies. They are not serving their draft status well for the Kiss My Ass crew. But hopefully better times to come in week 3. Let's hope Anthony turns it around. The death of a GM is not necessarily anything that I would like to deal with during the season. So we don't want that. So we need to get a victory for Anthony this week. All jokes aside, we love you, Anthony. Let's head to let's go to the Breaking Bad. Let's go to Breaking Bad and Bills Mafia. The 1-1 Breaking Bad after this week's victory, 155.5 to 135 of the 0-2 Bills Mafia. Greg Tomasi and the Bills Mafia currently sitting in 10th place. I'm lowering my voice here because it's kind of sad. We want to be respectful of the Bills Mafia. Listen, I mean, he's got the bookends at quarterback here, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, that AFC West division going to be high-flying all season. And certainly those two are kind of living up to their reputation. It's just everything else on the Bills Mafia that's struggling a little bit, specifically in the receiver department. His receivers gave him a grand total of 20 points this week. It's just not going to get it done. Certainly, again, underperforming, but 135. I mean, it should yield a victory on most weeks in this league. But again, the scores have been outrageous. He's run into a buzzsaw in week 1 with Brian setting a high score record of 208.5. Although news on that's changed this week. New week, new high score. And then this week ran into 155 on the Breaking Bad side with Dave Wall and his 1-1 crew, currently sitting in 6th place. Josh Allen was the anchor once again for the Breaking Bad crew. Aaron Jones not far behind, and masking some deficiencies here in Cincinnati with the Bengals and Joey Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, not necessarily looking Super Bowl worthy at this point. Certainly don't look like the runner-ups of last year, but let's hope they figure it out for Dave and his $1 Jamar Chase keeper. But right now, listen, he's got a Buffalo stack of Josh Allen, and when healthy, Gabe Davis, Aaron Jones. He's in a good spot. Hopefully that continues for Dave, but he got the big win this week over the Bills Mafia. Keep plugging Bills Mafia. Greg Tomasi, keep your chin up, my man. Better days are coming for sure. Now, let's move over to Triple X and the Super Troopers. Last week's Super Troopers high score, setting a new bar of 208.5, I believe, is now 1-1 this week after their week 1 victory. It's 1-1, sitting in 4th place because they took the loss to a strong Triple X team. Another strong performance by the Triple X squad, currently sitting in 1st place at 2-0. I believe he's a points leader as well, if I'm not mistaken. So things are going really, really well right now in the Triple X clubhouse, where Lamar Jackson is getting it done. with not only the arm, but the legs. He didn't get it done with the legs last week. This week he ran for 150 yards, whatever he did. I saw a 70-yard touchdown against my Dolphins, but not enough. Not enough there, Lamar. Slow your roll a little bit there, buddy. And those, as the cool kids say in school, those are the facts. The Dolphins, 2-0, supplanted the Ravens this week in their own backyard. But more on that later. Lamar Jackson getting it done nonetheless for Mark. 65 points. I mean, come on. He could have started Lamar, Amon-Ra, and the Bills defense. Okay, I'll start a quarterback, a wide receiver, and a defense against you this week, and I'm going to win and probably beat 7 teams in this league, I believe he could have this week. So Justin Jefferson decided to take the week off. Didn't matter. 7 points for Justin Jefferson, but I got you. Amon-Ra says, I got you. I got you. I'm going to put up 5 times that, and I'm going to put up 35, and we're going to just roll this week. And while Joe Burrow's trying to figure it out there again in Cincinnati with 20 points, the Bills' defense comes back with 28.5 after, I believe, a 23-point performance in Week 1, if memory serves me correctly. Things are rolling right now in Triple X Town. Again, we know things can change from week to week, but right now it's looking good there. So we move over to the Super Troopers. Again, last week's high scorer and setting a new bar for high score in the league. Again, that lasted 1 week. Excuse me. Brian, currently vacationing in Naples, left his team in the trusty hands of Patrick Mahomes, who, again, was Patrick Mahomes, 25 points. All right, I guess that's pedestrian for Mahomes, but still solid. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 12 points, a very efficient day for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Doesn't get many carries, doesn't get as many opportunities, but is making the most with what he gets. Very efficient, leading the way for Brian. Jalen Waddle, of course, in that epic Miami-Baltimore Raven game, 36.5 points for Jalen Waddle. And listen, a solid day for Christian Kirk, too, 21 points. But again, 130 points could get it done week to week, most weeks in this league. But again, not this time around. Wrong opponent for Brian this week. So now that takes us back to where everybody likes to go. Titty City. Let's go to Titty City. Because he had it going. All the tits were out this week. They were all out. The flapjacks, the overindulged, you name it, any kind of titty you want to name, they were out this week. Paying respects to the mayor of Titty City, Rich Fowler. 213, 71 over the Mean Machine, the auto-drafted Mean Machine, who came into this matchup at 1-1. Very tough task up against Titty City, who had it all going on this week. I mean, it was 4 o'clock. Kyler Murray, the QB of one of the QBs of Titty City, hadn't even gotten on the field yet. And I believe Rich had 182 points. I was literally texting live with Rich when Tua threw his 6th touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill, who was in and out of the blue injury tent from the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter. Blue tent, touchdown. Blue tent, touchdown. It was the perfect recipe. Cramps, allegedly, for Tyreek Hill. Didn't matter. He'd come out. Tua would hit him. Baltimore thought he was still in the blue tent, evidently. And away Tyreek went for some long touchdowns. Yeah. The Dolphins are for real. And Tua's for real. Listen, I was going to give him this year. He's got the weapons. He's got a lot to prove for sure. The jury's still out. I get it. But this was a hostile environment in Baltimore. And they were behind by quite a bit. So, okay, you could say, hey, a garbage time just led to, oh my God, Baltimore just blew this and Baltimore's only up by a score now, and before you knew it, that's exactly what happened. Tua is, if nothing else, very accurate, but has proven that he could certainly throw the deep ball, and Tyreek can run under it. So it was a strong week for Rich. But if you just put this matchup in perspective, and not to demean the meme machine, or disparage what they did or didn't do this week, but to just put this game into perspective. If Rich started Kyler Murray, no, I'm sorry. If he started Tua, Tyreek Hill, and let's see, Tua, Tyreek Hill, and maybe Bateman, or Tua, Tyreek Hill, and let's say Kyler Murray, he would have beaten, I think, 8 teams in the league this week. I mean, that's incredible to say you're going to start 3 guys, much like I believe the Triple X crew was, same situation with them. That's incredible. So kudos to Rich. Kudos to the residents of Titty City celebrating another week with their tits hanging out, and not such a great week for the auto drafted Mean Machine, who, all jokes aside, John has done a good job with his team. The team he was auto drafted. I know today he made a move with a quarterback. Pink slip to Daniel Jones. In comes Goff. Let's see if that changes the fortunes for week 3 for Mean Machine. But again, when you get tripled in score here, basically, that was quite a beating. So, but again, kudos to Rich. We have a big, or I should say, I have a big matchup with Titty City this week, both coming in 2-0. Second and third place respectively in the Legends Conference. Somebody's going home a loser, and somebody could quite possibly, well, they'll remain undefeated, but could possibly be the only undefeated team in the MTI, depending on what the Triple X does in his matchup this week. We'll see. It's a big test. So I'm sure there'll be some trash talk leading up to the matchup, but that's what this is all about. This is what makes it fun. Guys, great job with your teams. The scores are incredible. The activity on the waiver wire is incredible. So I'm glad to see everybody's paying attention. And hey, who's going to set the bar in week 3? Who's going to come out with the new high score? Right now, Titty City holds it at 213. Somebody's probably got 214, 215 in them for this coming week. But for now, he is the king. He is the mayor of the high score. And of Titty City. We'll see what happens in week 3. Guys, thanks. Appreciate you tuning in, and good luck the remainder of, it's starting tonight. Thursday night game. I've got some players going. I think Titty City's got some players going. So it all starts tonight. We'll kick it off with the Browns and the Steelers on Amazon, streaming Amazon. And good luck to everybody in their Sunday and Monday matchups. We'll catch up with you next week. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.